What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. This is our WWE Draft 2023 results video. We're going to just go through the list of superstars on the current brands now. And as of this week, the picks have been official and put in effect. So even though we have the World Heavyweight Championship tournament going on, where we have SmackDown superstars competing for a Raw exclusive championship, like we said in the last video, that transfer I think gives WWE an out when it comes to that. So I don't really pay too much attention to that. I don't really put too much stock in that or have an issue with that. So I think the transfer rule works in that favor. So the draft was it didn't go as quite as we expected it to, right? In terms of like breakups and dismantlement of factions or tag teams. I don't think no tag team or no faction split up. But out of this draft and out of Backlash that just happened this past Saturday, you can see a couple things that might happen or going to happen in terms of factions and teams. So we're going to break down these draft picks, what we didn't like, and what should have happened in our opinions. So let's go over Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw, they have Cody Rhodes, the SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. They have the Intercontinental Champion Gunther, and they have the Women's Tag Team Champions Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. And they have the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Raw also have Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins. They have Imperium as a faction, so Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser comes with Gunther. They have Matt Riddle. They have Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura. And they also plucked a couple superstars from NXT. They have Indy Hartwell. They have Apollo Crews, as you said. Who else did they pick up from NXT?
Jinder Mahal. He's a recall up. Caden Carter, Quintana Chance, and I think Indusher, Sanga, and Veer. Did you say? I think Zoe Stark too. I don't know if you said Zoe Stark.
No.
Odyssey Jones, and I believe that's it.
Now those are the picks for NXT that go up to Monday Night Raw. Essentially, they just swapped mid-card titles, so Austin Theory went from Raw to SmackDown. Also from NXT during the Monday Night Raw, you have JD McDonough. You have, we already don't said Indy Hartwell, so pretty much that's everybody from NXT that I can think of. And by Raw being a 3-hour show, they needed the majority of the picks in this draft. More notable picks they had, I guess you want to say, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville are on Raw. Other notable pick, the Judgment Day. So Dom, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor are all staying with Rhea on Monday Night Raw. The New Day is a notable pick. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. No Big E mentioned, so we don't know if Big E will ever come back. Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey are also a notable pick, coming from SmackDown going to Raw. We have Bronson Reed also staying on Monday Night Raw, and I guess you can throw in Braun Strowman and Ricochet going from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. And yeah, those really the notable picks. One admission, I mean, Tegan Knox, I would have had her stay with Shotzi so you can have them in a tag team. WWE did not do that. They just split them up. So Shotzi stayed on SmackDown. Tegan went from SmackDown to Raw. So I think that was a miss there. I would have kept them together and put them as a tag team so you have another group on SmackDown, because currently on SmackDown you only have 2 teams. And it might turn into 1 when we get into SmackDown. So out of those picks on Monday Night Raw, who do you like? And what would you change?
Gunther, home run. I think it was time for him to switch. Um, Something that I didn't like. Let me see. Let me pull up the Raw roster real quick. Hmm.
Like what's the move you think
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw should have made?
Hold on. I'm just trying to find something. I'm just looking at the roster here and seeing what
Well, one move I'll take over then. One move I think Monday Night Raw should have made was moving Karrion Kross from SmackDown to Raw. With the introduction of the new World Championship, you should have had him being in vying for this new title. And he's not in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament currently, even though he's on SmackDown. I mean, I get it. He's been on a losing streak. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura beat him. I believe Rey Mysterio beat him too. Last person I think he beat was Madcap Moss, right? But we got to do something, man. Karrion Kross is too good of a wrestler to just be sitting on the side. Former NXT champ, carried the championship in the pandemic. So I mean, we got to do something here, man. Something. We're gonna see what Triple H do with him Friday, but he should have been moved from SmackDown to Raw. Because Roman Reigns is holding on to those championships. Don't break the 1,000-day record. No telling when he's going to lose. Either WrestleMania, SummerSlam. There's no telling. So
I'm thinking SummerSlam, man. I think. I don't mind Karrion Kross being on SmackDown, just because I think Cody gonna end up over there, and you're gonna need somebody else for Cody to work with, and that's a way to get him in the world title picture. When Cody do, hoping he win Money in the Bank and shift over to fight Roman at SummerSlam, but we don't know yet. So I mean, I'm not as opposed. I'm not mad at the Karrion Kross staying on SmackDown pick, but I think. Are you asking me like, what's the move I think Monday Night Raw should have did, or just in the draft general?
Monday Night Raw.
Okay, Monday Night Raw. I wish Raw would have. I wish they would have drafted Ilya Dragunov to Monday Night Raw, so it can have those matches with Gunther and stuff. You know, him and probably Tyler Bate. Those are two NXT calls. I think, you know, ain't nothing down there for him. You know what I mean? I mean, other than compete for NXT title with Carmelo Hayes. Sorry. Other than that, there's nothing else down there from the deal.
I mean, I understand what you're saying there, but they already stripped pretty much NXT clean, so you can't keep stripping them clean. Ilya Dragunov and Tyler Bate, I would have loved to see go up in the draft, but NXT need superstars down there in order to, like Carmelo Hayes, to battle, go against when it comes to the NXT Championship. So I understand why those two didn't go.
That's fine, but I mean, I think NXT just a developmental brand. Like it's not it's not even NXT UK. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. Ilya Dragunov is not about to hold the NXT championship. Neither is Tyler Bate. That show's full of gimmicks now. Dragunov doesn't need a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's out of sorts down there. I mean, only reason why he's down there is to have great matches and help people along. I think he's main roster ready. Him and Tyler Bate. I wish they would have been called up so we can have those guys established on the main roster in front of the audience, so they can have good matches and great matches with Gunther for any kind of the title. Or even if you wanted to swipe one and put one on SmackDown and let them fight Butch or Pete Dunne, you could do that. Just introduce them. I mean, ain't much else to really do in NXT. I mean, Braun Breaker should have been called up too, but they just threw him in a program with Carmelo, just for Carmelo Hayes people to beat, which is fine. I understand that, but eventually it's gonna get to a point where he's just gonna run out of people. I mean, ain't that many more credible names past those 3 or 4? I mean, Dragon Lee's coming up, but you know, just they should do a better job of building those guys down there to fight for that main prize. You know what I'm saying? I don't think those established guys need to keep staying down there for long. They ain't really doing nothing for them. Who's to say? What if they get hurt or something like that, and he wastes another year of them? You know what I'm saying? Dragunov just got back from an injury. What if he goes? What if he's down there, working with somebody, gets hurt, and then he's out again? Get him up on the main roster. Let him get in front of the main roster people, and put some different stuff on the product on TV. That's all. That's a move I wish they would have done. Keep all three of them together. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Imperium, all of them. All on the same show.
I understand that, man, but I just feel like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It still got time for all that. Still got a year for next time's draft for them to come up. You just need those guys down there to help some of those young superstars and put them over and help them get better in the ring and get them in good matches with Ilya Dragunov and Tyler Bate. That's why Tyler Bate stayed there. So just wait, just be patient. They get enough superstars on these brands. Ilya Dragunov and Tyler Bate will have their time. Of course, that main roster ready, but we don't need to strip everything from NXT. You don't need somebody for Carmelo Hayes, Wesley to get in the ring. Braun Breaker, they still haven't had those matches yet. Yeah. So let them get those matches with those guys. And wait and see. You don't know yet.
Let me pose this question to you. Okay, if that's the case, right? Like keeping Ilya Dragunov and them down there, right? Why couldn't we just drive people from the main roster back to NXT to help groom those guys? Like maybe Angel and Humberto have they ain't got to be in the tag team. Kira Tozawa, or I don't know. I'm looking at this roster and looking. Let's see, the Maximum Male Models. They've been on the main roster. They know how to work. Riddick Moss. Draft some of these guys that aren't really doing anything. Put them in NXT and help them work with those guys and get ready for TV. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I'm not saying that those guys are big stars, but you wouldn't really be stripping, stripping NXT of all that of all the talent when you could just drop people from the main roster and go down there that ain't really being used. Lacey Evans, throw her on NXT and have her fight for NXT Women's Championship, which she's never done. Rick Boots, Ridge Holland, they liked him down there anyway. What's wrong with that? Tamina, train some of those girls down there. Just little stuff like that.
But haven't they been doing that for the past year and a half, though? With main roster talent coming down to NXT helping those guys? Dolph Ziggler, AJ Styles, Apollo Crews is down there for about a year. Who else I'm missing? Bobby Roode even had a match down there too.
It worked, though, didn't it?
So yeah, of course, but ain't no point of drafting them down there when they just don't automatically show down there anyway. To help out the talent. We just had Johnny Gargano come back and continue his feud with Grayson Waller. So it's gonna happen. They don't have to be drafted down there per se for that.
I'm saying you could have done something like that, so you don't quote unquote wipe the NXT brand clean. That they would have technically been on the roster. Then you got TV talent to work with that's been on the main roster. You to get those guys ready for the main roster. Those are guys you care about getting caught up anyway. In most cases, it's the NXT talent. So why not get them down there? Get main roster talent that's been down there that's on the main roster ain't doing nothing. Ship them down there and let them work with those. Kind of like what Mandy Rose did, and Apollo Crews and all those guys. Get the people that ain't doing nothing on the main roster now to ship them down to NXT and let them groom those guys. That's what Drew Gulak is doing. Not saying Drew Gulak is lighting the world on fire in NXT, but what's wrong with that? We got freaking Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali as free agents. Cedric Alexander and Sean Benjamin as free agents. Omos even. Don't know for a minute. I'm just saying little stuff outside of the box, man.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like they're already doing that stuff. I just don't think they need to be drafted down there when they literally already doing that. So, I guess our opinions differ there. We pretty much saying the same thing. You just saying draft them there when they already just moving them from Raw to SmackDown, bringing them to NXT to help talent. So we pretty much saying the same thing. Now you brought up the free agents. Now when it comes to the free agents, we have the only ones that really matter are Brock Lesnar, Bad Bunny, and Omos. Really, when it comes to this free agency status, certain guys like Von Wagner and Zion Quinn. I don't even know why Zion Quinn is even in this draft or even got drafted or even negotiated a way to be a free agent. The dude ain't done nothing since what Electra, the thing with Santos Escobar now, Del Fantasma. He ain't done nothing since there. And that's been since probably like September or before the fall or something. And he was gone from TV for a couple of months. And his steam dropped off of that. He had like a winning streak or something like that, then feuded with Santos Escobar, and then nothing after that. After Electra Lopez played him, you ain't seen him on TV after that. He dropped after that. So I don't understand why he is a free agent. I think he needed way more time in the kitchen. He's one of the guys who could have benefited from way more time on NXT as opposed to being a free agent to where he can travel from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. I guess they like his look, but he needed further development. I'm sorry. This was a bad pick by WWE making him a free agent to float from show to show. Same thing with Von Wagner. I know they like Von Wagner. They see main roster potential. He was even on a main roster show at one point in time in the backstage segment, I think with Adam Pearce or something like that. Probably like last year or something like that. Before like Survivor Series or something like that. I feel like he could have used more time on NXT. He's currently, they showing him on NXT having a storyline with this picture, like him as a kid with like tubes and stuff in him. So they're doing something with his character. But he needs to remain in NXT. You don't need to be on a main roster show. I felt the same way about the Odyssey Jones pick during Monday Night Raw. I liked Odyssey Jones. I like him a lot. But I think he could have used more time down at NXT. At least get him some run. Go out there a championship or something. He got hurt. Came back a couple weeks. And then he's in the draft. He got drafted. Like, people like that who ain't had enough time, TV time wise, or even I don't even think he appeared on the takeover or NXT takeover show yet. And he's already up on the main roster. It's sink or swim from there, but I think he should have had more time in the kitchen, in the oven per se, in NXT.
I think he's gonna surprise you.
Huh?
I think he's gonna surprise you.
I said I liked Odyssey Jones. I just feel like he needed more time down at NXT. That's all.
I think he's charismatic enough to make it on the main roster. I mean, Brodus Clay, pure example. Not saying he was great as in ring worker, but he was over for a minute there, wasn't he? Charisma goes a long way, man. You should know that.
Yeah, I do know that. I know that, but it's just he had a little sample size. It's way more than just charisma. It goes a long way, but it's way more than that to make it on the main roster. Who's to say he gonna get enough reps on the main roster on Monday Night Raw? We'll see. But I just feel like some of those picks should have stayed in NXT. I like him, but I feel like some of those picks should have stayed in NXT. Now, free agency status, WWE hit. Well, this was a miss to me. Cedric and Shelton should not be a fucking free agent. They should be able to have been drafted to a show, mainly SmackDown, since Bobby Lashley's on SmackDown. Put all these guys on SmackDown, have them feud with the Bloodline, like the OC is probably going to do, since they've been drafted to SmackDown as well. If you're going to do Bobby versus Roman and Bobby gets screwed, make sure you have Cedric and Shelton going after the Usos and Omos as the enforcer to handle the enforcer of Solo Sikoa. MVP is the mouthpiece. That's it right there. That's it right there. Hurt Business back in full in effect. Omos don't have to wrestle as much. Lashley is your workhorse, your guy who want to go after the main championship. Shelton and Cedric, who ain't been doing nothing. WWE, do something with them. Put them back together in the Hurt Business and make people care more about them. People cared for them when they was in the Hurt Business. So why not put them back together? Put them all on SmackDown with Bobby Lashley and just make them a group. Have them guys be there to watch Bobby's back and vice versa.
They still can.
They still can. But who's to say they gonna do it?
50-50. Not saying it's not a possibility though. I mean, I like the idea. They still can do it though. Just let it play out, man.
And in terms of free agents, that's it really. That's all I really speak on. Corbin, Elias, don't care. Zion Quinn, Von Wagner, don't care. Cedric and Shelton, I just gave you the beans on that. The most important free agents are Brock, Omos, and Bad Bunny. They're gonna go wherever they want to. I particularly want Omos to stay on SmackDown, form her business with Lashley. No,
I didn't see Logan Paul in there. Was he in there too?
no, he didn't get announced, but he's a free agent. He's gonna be called when needed, so he can float from show to show. So I think Monday Night Raw just pretty much did what we did. They went more with your pitch, which was swapping the mid card titles. When we pretty much said the same thing. Either way, you had more hits than me, so Monday Night Raw did it good. They needed them more pitch because they have the 3-hour show now. Just about them putting those pits and showcasing them and getting more exposure to those pits. But Monday Night Raw did good.
I'll give him a B plus. I'll give him a B plus.
Okay. I'll give them the same. Time to tell what they do with the talent they have. They loaded in the women's division, so Rhea Ripley should have a lot of challengers when it comes to that women's division.
Yes, and Natalya shouldn't be one of them.
Well, she's one of them as of Monday, so
I hope not. I hope it's just a squash match for Raw or something.
We'll see.
But we'll see. Triple H need to do better.
I mean, he had to do better when it comes to women overall. If that match with Io and Bianca is any indicator, he should be on a good path.
I mean, that was just them in the ring working though. That wasn't him just. I mean, it really wasn't no story behind it. She just won a #1 contenders match. I mean, he got to do better in booking stories, and I mean, yeah, you can book two talents together and make a good banger of a match, but you got to make something that's intriguing too. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to. I mean, as soon as I went on freaking Twitter, all you heard is about people moaning and groaning about Natalya. Even podcasters were on there like, okay, we get Natalya again. Natalya does not need to be in this position. I'm sorry. Okay, if she's gonna be a squash, let her be a squash. But she don't need to be fighting for the title in a pay-per-view. Simple. I mean, I'm over the Natalya shit. I really am. It's ridiculous. You got new talent on the roster. Make this girl be fucking enhancement talent. I don't care. It's ridiculous. She has literally been all over the screen in 2023. I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Triple H need to do better, man. Straight up. Rhea Ripley versus fucking Natalya. You got to be fucking joking me. That's ridiculous.
I mean, none of the other women over there are built up yet. You gotta
build them the fuck up. That don't mean she had to fight at Night of Champions. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck, you gonna book a match with? I mean, shit. I would have rather her face. Shit. Anybody else than fucking Natalya? Have her fight Tegan Knox or something. Some bullshit like that. Somebody different. Where the fuck is Piper Niven at? Build her up. You get a match between Rhea Ripley and her. Simple.
On TV in a long time. Last time I seen him was his feud with probably when they was doing that #1 contender. I want to say like Fatal 4-Way, Fatal 5-Way, or something like that. Match to see who's gonna be the NXT championship #1 contender. Last time I seen him. That's the last time I seen him. But well overdue. And last pick from NXT, we have Grayson Waller. This was like a no-brainer because he literally did everything to do on NXT. Had a feud with Johnny Gargano, competed in War Games, had 2 NXT championship matches for the title, fought for the NXT North American Championship. So, I mean, he did everything he can do on NXT. So this is a no-brainer pick. And I see good things for Grayson Waller on SmackDown. You don't need to. Now, I hope Triple H make it to where you don't need to see every superstar every week. You know what I mean? Just book it accordingly. Everybody don't need to show up on every show. Just like Roman don't show up at every show. He's been gone for a month. He's going to return this Friday. So you don't need to have everybody on every show. But I think SmackDown did pretty good when it comes to the draft picks. Anything you like or dislike when it comes to SmackDown's draft picks?
I like the Cameron Grimes pick. Grayson Waller. I think Grayson Waller, um, probably a future U.S. champ. I like Karrion Kross staying there, and I like LA Knight staying there. I think you can branch out to get Karrion Kross into that world title picture. I do think. I'm trying to see who will dethrone Theory for the U.S. title. Maybe Cameron Grimes, bro. I think Cameron Grimes probably if anybody come out of here looking the best, I think Cameron Grimes probably be the one to beat Austin Theory for the U.S. title. I think he's gonna do pretty good. So that'd be my first pick to make a breakout pick. Other than that, I'll give him a solid B minus. I'll give him B minus.
Okay. I like the pitch, man. Like Cameron Grimes, love Pretty Deadly. I dislike the Karrion Kross pick just because, we had the World Heavyweight Championship and he's not in the tournament right now. And then when I look at it, you had Lashley there, you had AJ Styles there. Do we honestly see Karrion Kross at this point? If he can't beat Nakamura, if he can't beat Rey Mysterio, what makes you believe and what makes you think he can beat Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles? Those are yet two more guys that are superseded his level. We need to get him in a feud with Edge or something, to where Edge puts him over. We need something, right? Because we can't keep having Karrion Kross lose, man. I just can't see him keep losing. And if he steps in the ring with AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley, I don't see him winning. So we need to build him up, get him in a great feud, to where we can be like, damn, Karrion Kross is now a fucking threat. So we're going to see what Triple H do, man, when it comes to Karrion Kross. I just feel like you should have had Karrion Kross compete for that world championship. Like I said in the last video, I would have had him in the tournament. I would have had him go to the finals and face Seth Rollins. And probably fucking beat Seth Rollins. Just because Seth Rollins is an obvious pick for the World Heavyweight Championship. If it ain't Drew McIntyre, you need to put it on somebody like Karrion Kross. And I know it's the inaugural World Heavyweight Championship, so you want somebody of stature to get that championship. But you got to do something with Karrion Kross, man. He was listed as the number 2 heel. Now he's probably, the number 2 heel now, right? On this brand behind Roman now, by default. LA Knight's a heel, but he's more of a babyface. LA Knight just got over organically by himself. So let's do something to build Karrion Kross up. Let him do something, man. He can't keep fucking losing. He just can't.
Theory probably number 2 heel. Just looking at the roster. You can good though. Go ahead. Just looking at the roster. Yeah. As far as Yep.
Man, I don't know, man. LA Knight is gonna be more of a babyface. He's my top pick for Money in the Bank before the draft. Just because I felt like Cody was gonna win and he was gonna break up the titles. But he's my number 2 behind Cody, just because you got to get to the Cody story is with Roman. Cody losing in that tournament was the best thing that happened. He don't need that World Heavyweight Championship because his story is not with it. The World Heavyweight Championship. It's with the championship Roman holds. Only way, like I said before, only way I can see him getting to that match with Roman is A, winning Money in the Bank and calling his shot like RVD did to John Cena, saying he was going to cash in at One Night Stand. And Cody saying, I'm going to cash in at SummerSlam on Roman Reigns. And that's your match for SummerSlam. That's your main event. Or he wins the Royal Rumble again. And we wait a whole nother year to retell the story. And hopefully Cody beats Roman again at WrestleMania. This time. But do we have Roman hold the championship that fucking long again? Another year. This would be 4 years of him holding that damn championship. I don't know. But we gonna see. SmackDown did great when it comes to the pitch. Raw's did great. Just depending on how you use them and you don't expose them as much on these television formats. Only expose them to when you need them. But draft was pretty good, pretty decent. It's just some minor things I would change. And we need to build some more stars. We can't just keep having the same people in the fucking main events. I got faith in Triple H. He'll do that, but he got to do better. Women's division, he has to do better. We need more stories. We need more credible opponents because the well is running fucking dry when it comes to the women's division. Like I say, the stories might be shit. That goes overall. The stories will be shit. Outside of the bloodline story, everything else is shit, really. But the talent will always make the matches great. Don't matter the shit builds of any stories. So we gotta do better when it comes to telling stories and building superstars. Let's get a Piper Niven. Let's get her going. A big woman who can move and pull off maneuvers. Let's get her going. Right? Let's get Mia Yim going. She proved in Impact Indies that she can work. Let's get her going. We don't need no more Natalia's. Natalia's cool, but we don't need no more of her. Let's get Tegan Knox and Shotzi. We know Shotzi's cool, but she's not ready for that spotlight. That's why I wanted them to be a tag team like they were. They had traction, they had chemistry as a tag team, but WWE split them up. Let's transfer, since this transfer rule is in effect, transfer Tegan Knox to SmackDown, put her with Shotzi. That's yet another team that can challenge for those titles. Boom, right there. Becky is Becky. We don't need to talk about Becky. Bayley needs to break off from Damage Control because she's doing more harm for Dakota and Io than good. That's just the proof in the pudding there. They need to get away from Bianca. They shouldn't have been drafted to the same brand as Bianca, in my opinion. Asuka should stay away from Bianca. Shouldn't have been drafted the same brand as Bianca or Charlotte. Now I'm not even sure she's gonna be able to beat Bianca or Charlotte. Every time she runs into him, she loses. So I'm not really sure she's gonna be able to beat them. I don't know, man. We need to do better when it comes to the women's divisions and the tag.
I think Triple H need to make a call to the CEO. Make a call to the CEO and improve some things.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see, man. Any final words? Anything you want to touch on?
Yeah, man. Now I guess Triple's got the ball in his court now. So see what we do. Ain't much else to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, he had the ball in his court it's about to be about a year. So I mean, now he had the draft out the way. He got people where he wanted positioned. So we will see what he do.
I'll say this. From SummerSlam up until probably let me see, August, September, November, up until War Games, Triple H had the ball in his court. But after that, I'm pretty sure Vinnie Mac has got his hand in the cookie jar. You know what I'm saying? Once he got back in the company, he had his hand in the creative. I don't care what you say, because there was something that changed from the type of TV we was getting from before Triple H took on to when he took over, and then maybe around December when Vince ushered himself back into the company. He's been involved in creative somewhere. The quality of TV has kind of gone down. There's not even been an extensive importance of the secondary titles like it was. You know, we had promos, we had vignettes about both IC and the US titles. We ain't getting any of that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? People aren't like Gunther hasn't even had a one-on-one match on the. You know what I mean? Like he didn't even defend his title on Backlash. Granted, he may have been, I think he honeymooning or something, but still, granted. WrestleMania, okay. And then after that was what? I don't think he even defended in an Elimination Chamber, did he? I don't think he did. So I mean, got to start establishing these titles back. You know, the importance of it. What's the World Heavyweight title do if it's not propped up on the pedestal? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You just got to book stuff a little bit better. That's all. But it's not easy. So I mean, it's easy for us to come on the internet and say, do this and do this. You can't please everybody, and that's fine. So I kind of when I'm watching the product, I see things I don't like, but I'm trying to be open-minded to. I'm just looking at it from his perspective and just trying to take it a step at a time. Yeah, we don't like certain picks. Yeah, we don't like superstars on certain brands. Yeah, we don't like certain champions being moved or certain people having the title, some people not being on the show. Whatever. Just let this stuff play out. That's all we can do. I mean, we still tuning in, ain't we? Just got to be patient and see what happens. I mean, we've been complaining since Vince was the head of creative for a long time, and it still didn't change much. We may have gotten a compensatory, world champion out of it, but doesn't mean the product got any better, right? I mean, if it does, it does. If not, it is what it is. But I mean, I got some faith in Triple H to make it better, make the show worth watching. Just give him time, man. This shit probably ain't easy. So
Yeah, that's well said. Well said. I agree. It's just certain shit sometimes just be like head scratching, man. I mean, you gotta let it play out. You gotta be patient, but certain shit just get you to that level. But man, that's enough of us ranting. We gonna see what happens. If you enjoyed the Arlo rant about the draft, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. And we'll see you guys in future videos. We out, man.